Good afternoon. Now I'm going to discuss the translation problems faced while translating a prose and a poetry piece from the source language into target language. First, we shall look at the general inflection of translation. Translation is defined differently by different practices and theorists, but they all rely on rendering the message of Esser in the tier. This is a core idea. As Roman Jacobson said, no full equivalence can be achieved through translation. Equivalence can be achieved through translation. He is saying that equivalence cannot be achieved. Full equivalence is impossible in translation. So it is a translation. All the translation is just a compromise. So it needs the help of numerous vocabularies in the mind of the translator to translate. In addition, the translator needs the help of dictionaries and thesaurus. Most of the time, the translator needs to be creative. As Susan Bassner propounded that the structure of the TL is to be preserved, and in the same time, the structure of the TL should not be. Sorry, the structure of the SL should be preserved, and at the same time, the structure of the TL should not be distorted. And the second thing Susan Bassnett insists is the surface meaning of both both SL and TL should be the same. So considering it in the mind, I will into the process of translating. So the assignment one is concerned with translating an English text into Tamil, that is a poetry text by Kubla Khan, by S.T. Coleridge, Kubla Khan. It's a poetic piece, so we all know that it is a fragment of a dream rendition by Kubla Khan. In this, the poem has many comparisons, because of speech, alliterations, wide range of natural sceneries, explained his own experience in the vision. All those things have many sensations, and many wide range of illusions are used in this poems. So one can find translating the poem itself as a bit difficult. So in addition to considering these facts, the metrical system used by the poet, the phonemic composition adapted by the poet are all to be considered. Despite all these elements, the essence of the poem should be rendered aesthetically in the TL. So it should be the main concern of the translator. What is the essence? It should be in an aesthetic way, it should be rendered to the audience. So after translating this particular piece, what I have understood, the original author may use various kinds of components or elements in structuring a poem, but all those things cannot be rendered by the translator in the target language. He has to miss or sacrifice some of the components, like if the poet is making alliteration in one sentence, the same alliterations cannot be found in sometimes. So for a better and experienced translator, it would be a easy job to find alliterations are such like this process, that is syntagmatic translation, where that is the structures are maintained so well, and like yeah, and in some cases paradigmatic translation, that is grammatical equivalences are concerned mainly. So one cannot focus on all those aspects used by the original author. So one has to, the translator should aim at two things: the purpose of the, what is the purpose of his translation, and to whom he is translating. So having these two questions on his mind, the translator should start to translate. Okay, while translating this poem, the words like Kubla Khan, Xanadu, these are all the names of place. Xanadu is the name of a place, and Kubla Khan is the name of the king. So these should be rendered in the footnotes. They should be given in a, they need a footnote to be explained, because the Xanadu cannot be translated, it has to be transliterated, and Kubla Khan is also need to be transliterated. And other words like flail, hail, these words are these words doesn't need any footnotes. The flail is it is the exact translation in Tamil is Kali. So the instrument used to instrument used by the farmers to reap the grains. So it is the flail. So these things can be translated. Like Xanadu and Kubla Khan, these things need to be transliterated and given adequate footnotes at the end to be read by the audience. And some expressions like deep romantic chasm, ceaseless turmoil seeking, breathing in thick pants, these expressions are really difficult to translate. The deep romantic chasm. So it is translated as all ramyamana. Chasm is deep valley. So chasm is also a deep valley, and again the word deep is also used. So some kind of considerations and some kind of vocabulary development is needed in this kind to render these expressions. And ceaseless turmoil seeking, it is a sensation, that is the earth. Ceaseless turmoil seeking, breathing in thick pants, that is the earth due to its it is overly tired, and due to that it is breathing in thick pants. It is extremely fast pants. It is breathing. It is explained by Coleridge. So these sensations, these expressions need to be clearly rendered. So the sense alone should be taken here for rendering. And the word savage, it's savage, it is an uncivilized or uncivilized person. So it is mentioned a savage place. So it's uncivilized place or uninhabited place. So he is the chasm, the place is savage because it is not civilized or uninhabited by any place. So he is saying that savage. Savage is a bit the translation, the exact translation of savage is நாகரிகம் இன்றி or மக்களால் வந்து பயன்படுத்தப்படாத ஒரு இடம், like that the translation goes. So the whole expression cannot be given, so some kind of compromise is done in that areas. And one more thing, too much of footnotes will not prove good translation. A translator has to work hard in order to bring those elements without explaining that in the footnotes. Of course, footnotes are really helpful, but it has to be avoided mostly. In adequate places only it has to be rendered. And the assignment 2, it is considered, as it is considered, it has, I have chosen extract from a doctrine, an extract from a piece of essay about great Indian poet Kalidasa. So as an extract from an essay, this prose piece I find it particularly easier than translating poem, Kubla Khan poem. So as it is a process equally difficult as poetry in translating. Translation is difficult. Any genre is concerned. But I have felt some ease in translating this particular piece. It may be due to I have not chosen any short story or an extract from the novel. So if I have chosen any extract from the novel, so only the extract, through the extract we cannot render the whole essence what it meant to be conveyed. So we should place that extract in the whole sense and should be considered. So it needs more work. So I have chosen this abstract about Indian poet Kalidasa. And one strategy I have followed in translating this prose suggested by Hilary Belloc. What Hilary Belloc has said in translating prose, one should not go word by word or sentence by sentence in translating particularly prose pieces. One should block out the sections. Blocking out of the sections is very, very important in translating prose pieces, because this would alone help to render the meaning of the SL in TL. So I have blocked out the sentences, blocked out the passages. Not each sentence I have translated. Some lengthy sentences they are sectionized and it is translated. And one more thing, Hilary Balagh, what he suggests is um, avoid embellishments. He asks us to avoid embellishments. That is, decorations, using of the superfluous words. So while translating, I have found many better expressions that's not used by the original author in the original text, but the exact equivalent of the word is in the target language. It's not up to that mark, but it needs to be preserved. So what the original author has used need to be preserved in the target language. So one may can get better expressions, those that used by the original author, but we should not go for those embellishments. We should avoid embellishments, and we should be original, faithful to the original text. And concerning the problems, yes, so these things, blocking out and embellishments, these things should be considered. And as it is in poetry, in prose, in any kind of translation, the author's only concern is to the purpose of his translation and to whom he is translating. This should be bear in mind. And the problems I have found, it is less in this one, this prose piece. So the the works written by Kalidasa, like Abhinana Sakuntalam and Vikramursavam, Raghuvamsa. So these are literally, they are transliterated. These are transliterated as in Proem, Zanadu, and Kubla Khan. The words as they are transliterated, these words also translated, because the work names should be rendered as it is. It doesn't need any translation. We cannot find translation also. So in such situations, we have to depend upon some other external sources from an authorized standard versions that though they are that have been translated. For instance, I have taken those transliteration of the works written by Kalidasa from the Wikipedia. Wikipedia, when I searched for those words, they are transliterated, and I have used the exact words what it is used. And some argue that translation is an art, translation is a craft, translation is a creative one. So what I suggest is translation allows the translator to be creative sometimes, because I have done two things which is not exist. One thing existed in the on the original piece, and the second thing is not existed in the original piece. I have attempted to bring such items. First thing is, as the passage goes, the poetry written by Kalidasa will appear. That is, மழையின் முதல் நீர்த்துளிகள் அவள் கன்னத்தில் பட்டு இறங்கின, and then அவள் மார்பகங்களில் தெரித்தது, like that it goes on. So all those ending words will be தயங்கின, சிதறின, தேங்கின, like this. The na sound, the poet has used the na as the rhyming for all those lines at the end. So what I have done is, I have adapted this rhyming pattern by all those ending of the sentences, like tayangina, that they hesitated. So the, and sidrina, scattered, the. So I have maintained that rhyming things by using this da sound. It is na in the original text, but I have used da in the original text. The rhyming, it is captured in this way. So one more instance is praising four lines about. It is a praising about Kalidasa and his verse. So what it goes like, கற்கும் போதே இனிக்குமாம் இருவித்தைகள் ஒன்று கலவி மற்றொன்று காளிதாசனின் கவிதை. So considering the last two lines, ஒன்று கலவி மற்றொன்று கவிதை. So in these lines no rhyming is used. So when we go for the invariant core of kalavi, the kalavi means it is sex. So it is in the first instance itself we are getting the correct invariant core. The sex is the correct invariant core of the word kalavi. And kavide, considering this kavide, the invariant core of the word kavide may goes like poetry or lines of poetry. So couplet, anything can be said as kavide. So what I have chosen is first I considered the invariant core of kalavi, that is sex. So it ended in x, is sound it has ended in. So I have searched for the invariant core of kavidai which also ends with the same s sound. So I have found a verse. So it is sex and this verse. So ஒன்று கலவி மற்றொன்று காளிதாசனின் கவிதை. So I have translated, one is sex, other is Kalidasa's verse. So a kind of rhyming I have brought in the last two lines alone. And many things that are really challenging while translating. And the book, Susan Bassner's book, has given the names to this Hilary Belloc, Roman Jacobson's idea, and even Susan Bassner's own idea also. So these helped me in attempting a translation, though it is not justified translation or a real translation work. Somewhat I have made it, and these attempts and the problems I have faced, I have discussed in this video. And thanks for watching this video. And I would like to convey my gratitude towards our sir who gave this assignment and made us to present in this video. And also I request everyone who watches this video to comment what are the ways I can develop my presentation. And if you found any mistakes, please comment below also. Thank you.